The award-winning comedy series The Letdown returns to the ABC, mining the hilarious highs and lows faced by new parents, in particular the misadventures of Alison Bell's new mum, Audrey, and the local parents group she thought she didn't need. The new season finds their babies turning one. As they learn to walk, their parents are also starting to find their feet and regain some equilibrium in their lives. Or are they? The more things change, the more chaos they bring and the more laughs. Belle is again in fine comedic form as she continues to deal with baby Stevie, still coping with sleeplessness, the competitiveness of the other mums, the complications of her marriage to Jeremy, and her ongoing issues with her own mother.
Very firm.
Season 1 of The Letdown was a major critical and audience success on ABC, especially among those with young children, and outside Australia on Netflix, leading the show to earn international plaudits, including a New York Times art section cover story and praise from Vanity Fair as a clear-eyed take on parenthood told hilariously. This new season sees the return of the core creative team of Sarah Scheller and Alison Bell herself as creators, writers and producers, as well as the Chaser producer Julian Morrow and Linda Mixco, who also worked on ABC comedy series Laid with Bell. And it was my great pleasure to catch up with Alison Bell as the new season of The Letdown gets underway.
Esther and Ruben have Eva.
Oh, hang on, are they coming?
Could very well not invite them, could I?
Oh, really?
I couldn't. Now, go upstairs and finish the toilet and light the scented candle. And what is she wearing?
Mum bought it.
Well, she can't wear that. She looks like a Kardashian. Put her in her new overalls and take off the fleece.
Well, Alison, you've found an international audience with a kind of universal idea. How clever of you. Where did it all start? Where did this initiating idea come from?
It actually came from my amazing collaborator, Sarah Scheller. She had 2 children, and she said to me one day, I think I'd love to make a comedy set in a parents group, because her experience of it was extremely fraught, and she only stayed for a short while, but she said it was crazy, the people I met in this, and the outpouring of emotion and the drama, you know, in this group. And I said to her, you have to do that. That's genius. You have to do that. And then very cleverly later on, I said, you know, if you ever want a hand, if you want me to read something or do something, and she said, let's do it together. And I went, brilliant. I'd love to. It aired on the ABC as part of the Comedy Showroom, and they did a little competition-y sort of a thing around that, and we were lucky enough to get the green light after getting Netflix on board as co-producers.
Well, how did that happen? That's an interesting story. How do you get a massive juggernaut like Netflix on board with a funny little comedy from Australia? How does that work?
It blew our minds.
It did.
There is an imperative to get co-producers now for a lot of our work here in Australia, just to get them made. And Netflix took a meeting with Sarah first initially, and they said in that meeting that the Australian comedies hadn't really landed.
Thank you.
To date, with their international audiences. But we had the pilot as a proof of concept, which was key, I think, because on the page, tone is very hard, as you would know, to read, and particularly with comedy. So I think that really helped us having this product.
They're legendary, Netflix, for not interfering in the process a great deal. Have you found that?
Absolutely. They were very hands-off with us, and particularly when we went back to them with the second series and we had a meeting with our executive over there, and we were telling him some of the more contentious stories that we were hoping to tell in series 2, and we were saying, what's your take on that? How do you feel about that? And his advice was, tell the stories you want to tell.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And that was sort of wow. Yeah. So it is. They do not intrude on us at all creatively.
There are no producers' notes coming from 5 or 6 different executive producers?
No. And I think that is quite... I don't know enough of the industry. This is my only experience with Americans. So I don't know what everyone else does, but I've heard that it's not the norm.
No.
That there is still that tradition of everyone weighing in, but not with Netflix. They're also very... They kind of just let it sink or swim. They let the creators do what they want, or at least they did with us. And then we kind of die by our own sword if we die.
Well, I laboured for 40 hours but wasn't dilating, and there was fetal distress. And then my epidural failed 3 times, so I could feel everything.
What?
Oh, no, not the pain. I could just feel what they were doing, because she was stuck, and so they had to do a T incision, the vertical ones, to get her out. And then I nearly hemorrhaged to death.